Alright, welcome back everybody. As you can see, I got the boot lid here. Going to get some Raptor Liner underneath the boot lid and do some touch-up of it underneath the bonnet here and make it one step closer to getting this car wrapped up. I've decided that I'm going to re-hit some of the inside of the bonnet here with Raptor Liner. I got a new bottle of it today actually, and you can see some of the spots are gray, and when I flip the bonnet over, these obviously became much more accessible. So all you really have to do with the Raptor Liner, like I've done before, is scuff it up, and then you can hit it with another coating. So I'll do that this weekend and get that looking better under there. And a little bit more covered. As you can see, there's some spots like on top of that ridge there that I just missed, and in there I don't know what I was doing there, but there's other spots that I knew I wasn't going to get, but now I have the opportunity to do so. So I'll get this guy taped back off, get that ready for Raptor Liner again. That'll be quick and easy on here. No primer or anything, like I said, you just scuff it. But the boot lid, I'm going to take that guy off, flip that over, get the reinforcement bars that are in there off of there, and then prep that for Raptor Liner. Now that's got base coat clear coat on it, so I'm going to probably hit it with 400 grit or maybe even a little bit less than that to get all that stuff up, or at least scuffed up good and prepped, and then that'll get a coat of sealing coat of primer before that gets any Raptor Liner on it. So like I mentioned, I got to get the boot lid off. It's obviously connected here. I got to get these hinges off. Got to get the lock off. Again, that was just stuff that I had on there. So it's just a matter of lifting it up. It's got the little door catch in here. Take all that hardware off. Take the stuff that's inside here off and be ready to go with it. One thing I will show you, right there, up in here, you can see where I had a little bit of overspray. I didn't show anybody that when I did it. I was a little upset, but it wasn't worth it for me at the time to go through. I also am not real crazy about the fact that the bolts got painted, but nothing else did, so I'm going to put all that stuff back in like I have it now, and put the hinges back on and get all that stuff covered in Raptor Liner. So I'll get this thing off and get it broken down a little bit here, get it taken apart, get it cleaned up. Alright, so there's the boot lid, stripped down. Got all the stuff out of it. I'll clean this up here real quick. Run it over with, I'm just going to use the orbital. And not really be too all that concerned with it. Again, it's not going to really matter. And I'll also get the tube cleaned up, get that all scuffed up, and then put that back in. I also need to tape everything off here, as well as, like I had mentioned, with the boot lid, but I'm going to get it scuffed up first. Got everything on the inside sanded down through 220. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to hit it with a scuff pad. Now I've got to go around and tape off all the edges, and I'm going to tape off the entire other side of it in paper, and the places where I don't want the tape to bleed through or the paint to bleed through, like, you know, the letter holes and things like that. And go ahead and get it taped off in preparation, and then move over to the bonnet here and get the bonnet taped off in preparation. And my intention will be to do these both in the booth. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm not going to show you taping everything off. That's rather boring. And yeah, move on. All right, everything's scuffed up, taped off. All the holes are closed. So it'll wait until this weekend when I can get back over here and get Raptor Liner down. This is the passenger side door here. This is the one where I burned through a couple times on the paint. And my intention, especially now that I'm Raptor Linering the underside of the bonnet, I've saved some red paint, so I'll have enough paint, probably enough clear, to go ahead and repaint this if I want to. But I want to try to get a little bit more practice with the cutting and buffing. I took, like I had mentioned, 220 to the underside of the boot lid And the only places that I burned through on the boot lid, burned through the clear, were the high spots and the underside. I didn't really work that much. So that gave me confidence that I can really go to town on this clear, that the 4 coats is going to give me a good amount of leeway room, except on the edges, like I burned through over there. I got to be careful hitting the corners, but it's going to give me a little bit more room than I thought. So I just wax and grease removed it, hit it with Dawn, and then wax and grease removed it just to get whatever residual chemicals off of it from the buffing process. I'm going to go right back down to 1200, and I'm going to hit down here and just on this strip down here and see if I can take that strip in. And I'll show you. I think you can see all the scratches in there. And that's the kind of stuff that I'm just trying to get out. And some of it's, going to be practice and how long do I spend in each one and all that kind of stuff. Because when I get to the body right now looks better than anything that I've cut and buffed. So I want a good quality paint when I'm out of here, but I'm not gonna, I need to figure out my threshold. So I'm hoping that just spending a little bit more time on every grit here will help me out. So enough of me talking, I'll get to it. We'll see what happens. You probably, right there, you probably can't see it. But, so I'm going to go back and hit with 1200 real quick. Now you can see, at least I think if it'll focus, you can see where it's foggy and not, and that's just kind of where I tapered off. So I decided to just kind of do half of this down here so I can compare it to what I left myself with, a little bit easier to see. So I'm going to go and see if I can get those pigtails out and then move up to 1500. So I just got done hitting it with 1500. And that the camera's not liking to focus very well, but hopefully you can see that's pretty uniform, ugly gray red color. But I don't see any, there's a couple pigtails right there. One of the things that I read on the SPI forum, and you guys know how much I love that place, that the pigtails are, one of the guys' theories is the pigtails are caused mostly by heat as the sandpaper picks something up. And what I did was when I got done sanding, I shot this panel that I was sanding and the rest of the door, and they were within a degree of each other, and actually the part that I was sanding was cooler by a degree with the water. So I'm thinking that heat, at least right now, is not going to be the problem. So it looks like that, just that one pigtail there, and I don't think that's that big of a deal. So I'm going to move up to 2000 grit and keep going. All right, 2000 came out pretty good. Now I'm hitting with the 3000, which is essentially, paper. And this is, again, it's got that little extra pad on it. I'll go over all of that and then show you what it looks like when I'm done with 3000. Should get a little bit of a shine to it. So that's what the 3000 looks like. Pretty good. I don't see any scratches. And believe it or not, I don't even really see any pigtails in there. I mean, I do see scratches, but they're not as bad as these are. So now I'm going to move over to the chemical guys stuff and see if I can get that done. You can, obviously I'm kind of working my way further and further. Hopefully I don't run out of space. But I'll try to bring up a nice shine here, and I'll try to cut it in half or so. But this is where I think I have my problems. This post 3000 grit, I've seen this before. And that camera's having trouble focusing. Focus. Anyway, I've seen this before, so hopefully at least I've half split and can figure out where my issues are. Well, this is better. There's still itty bitty little swirls and stuff in it. This is after the first polishing compound. It's definitely better than this, though I've been wiping this down and it's not really clean, but I would say that it's definitely better than that. You can see the transition, hopefully, from that to that. I don't know if the camera's really picking this up, but it is better, but it's not as good as I would like to see it, but I would be happy with this, I think. And you can see how fuzzy it gets and how sharp it gets once it gets into that area. So again, I'm going to hit it with, now I'm moving up to the V34 compound, which is the next level, but same pad color, but I've got 2 orange pads. I think I explained that to you just so I wouldn't have to worry about cleaning stuff. So I'll give this a shot for several minutes and see how that comes out. see if I get the pigtails out. If they don't come out, then I know that my problem is probably on the V32 stuff, and I'll either have to spend more time or make sure the pad is cleaner or something like that. I'll figure that out. This is all I'm going to have the time and the night for too, is to get to this next compound. So this is definitely much better. Can't really see real well on the camera to know if you're picking it up, but as I transition here up here, I think you can see that. So there's still little swirls and stuff in there. So my guess is that I'm not getting everything perfect on the V32, which is the first buffing compound. So again, either like these two, I don't know if you can see those two scratches that are right there, but they were there before I hit the V34, but I didn't see them when I hit the 3000. So my guess is that V32 is that key step that I'm not getting completely right. So I have a couple minutes here. I think I might go back, try it, and then come back out to the V34 and just see, just a couple minutes just to see what happens. All right, so those scratches didn't come out, but they may have if I worked on them a little longer. They definitely don't seem as deep, but I'm really happy with the way that's coming out. So my guess is that V32 I've got to spend a little bit more time on. There's still some cloud in there, but the scratches and everything that are all over this, you're not seeing at all, and that's popping pretty good. That's going to, at the end of the day, if I can get the whole car looking like this down here, then I'm going to be happy with it. Another thing of interest here is I didn't care if I burned through it all, and I didn't really try to stay away from these corners at all, and I didn't really have any problems. So that's a good sign. I'm pretty sure I burned through this stuff over here early in the sanding, like 1500 grit, but you could probably go pretty much all day with this buffing compound. So we'll leave it at that, and again, when I come back here, when you see me, sorry for the light, here in a couple seconds, I'll be prepping to do the Raptor Liner back there. Got the panel ready to go here for the boot lid. All the screws are back in. I got them cleaned up and roughed up, so they'll get covered again. The only other trick may be here is to get the rubber pieces that go underneath the support tubes there to prevent rattling. That may cause me to kind of have to loosen these up and just kind of remove them, but if I scratch some of that Raptor Liner off, then then so be it. But everything else is ready to go here. I've got the areas on underneath the bonnet there scuffed up. I'm going to just cover the whole bonnet with a piece of plastic and try to get that protected as best as I can so that I don't have overspray get up underneath the Raptor Liner that's already there and hit this boot lid here with a reduced epoxy coat. And then I got a 2-hour time wait there, so that's kind of a bummer, but that's so be it. Getting ready to go here. Everything's prepped and ready. I also re-prepped these headlight buckets I had sandblasted and epoxy primered them a while ago. So now I'm going to hit them with a reduced coat and then go ahead and hit them with Raptor Liner as well. I just figure they'll look better that way. Just the outsides, the insides I got taped off here. That'll just stay in gray. So I've got the bonnet taken care of and protected for now. Obviously it won't be when I go to do the Raptor Liner, but I'll get that retaped in some way just to kind of prevent the Raptor Liner from getting out onto the primer. Not real concerned with that. So as I've mentioned in the past, I'm using the DeVilbiss the cup system, kind of just a disposable cup liner that goes inside the gun, makes it much easier clean up and all that kind of stuff. I was holding off using this because it's not a real cheap system, especially for just a home user. But one of my viewers, Eric, pointed out that the system is designed to be able to spray upside down, and essentially what you do is you spray the gun upside down and evacuate the air. If you can see, that's kind of the air is kind of tight in there, and it'll collapse the cup, and then it doesn't matter, you can spray in any direction. I had totally forgotten about that. So I'll show you here on the practice board, and again, all you really do is hold the gun upside down and spray until you start to get paint out. All right, and you can see that it started to come out there. You can see how the cups all collapsed and everything like that. And it now it's at a vacuum in there, so now I can essentially hold the gun in any direction I want, and it'll allow me to spray it. So again, part of the advantage of the system, something that I totally forgot about. So we're ready to go. This will be the first coat of the Raptor Liner on the boot lid and on the headlight cups, or headlight buckets. And then I'll come back for the second coat, and that at that point is when I'll get the underside of the boot or the bonnet here, because I'm only doing one coat on that. Two coats Raptor Liner on everything, and the touch-up coat underneath on the bonnet. So that it worked out okay. I didn't get all the spots that I would like to have gotten to just because the angles were bad, but I did get up around the turn marker signals and up there underneath the headlight buckets. And you know, it is what it is. I'm not too upset with that. There's also some subtle areas on the boot lid that you can see that I couldn't get the angle of the gun to get into, but again, I'm not. That's fine. I have no problem with that. So this will sit here now. I did get the bolts all done. They came out good. And again, like I said, I might have to loosen these up to squeeze the little rubber pieces under there. And finally, the headlight buckets, really, really light. If you could see them, they were flying around on me. So that was fun. But you're never going to see any of this stuff. But at least I know that it'll be covered. It'll be fine. So that's it. I'm happy. And again, like I said, on to the bonnet. Alright folks, that's all I got. Thanks so much for watching. Leave a comment below, tell me what you think. Well, this is the last interim painting that needs to get done. Next up is going to be getting the base coat, clear coat on the bonnet, and then into assembly. Thanks again. Have a good rest of your day. Cheers.